it's almost is a piece of fruit. It's a little fruity as well. But, okay, we're recording now. If you just so you know, just
so I won't say anything criminal.
Out of being polite. This fest sucks. Wait, are we on tape? Oh, yes, we are. Actually, digital tape. As
digital tape.
Yes,
right.
Much better.
Right.
But anyway, this made no sense. I'm very tired because it's like the fifth.
Been doing this all day.
I've been doing this all day for the past 5 days. So,
wow.
And I was
more or less the last 2 months.
Has it been? Because in preparation for this?
No, just so many.
That's what you guys do.
Yeah. That's what we do, and we've been doing like festivals for the past 3 months, 4 months maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit on and off, dude. But we're not complaining at all. I'm getting to interview Lightning Bolt finally after I've been doing this for 15 years though. I've never seen you guys live, unfortunately.
We have very rarely. Are you from Portugal?
Yes, from Lisbon.
Yeah, we've only been to Portugal once, so we went to Lisbon 9 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the only time we've been here.
I've only okay, so 9 years ago. Let me do my math. So that'd be like 2008-ish.
Sure, not 7 or something. What is 9? I can't.
Was it at ZDB?
It was, but it was off. It wasn't in there. They had their big building, which maybe they still have. But
They do.
It was in a parking garage, like way underground.
Oh.
It was like in an underground parking lot, right?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. I mean, it sounded weird, but it was fun. Like the event was awesome, and we loaded everything down. It's like just like a tiny little elevator, just like just a person elevator or whatever. It was just like one cabinet, go down with some weird old couple going to park their car or whatever, get their car, and then back. It was pretty funny.
I remember.
Is the soundtrack gonna mess up your?
No, it's fine. This is good.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. Thanks for worrying, though, dude.
I'm worried.
Yeah, very worried. But don't. It's fine. It's fine. This has really good preamps, and so even if it's really far away, it actually makes up for it. Or
I think this is Slayer, and Slayer, they tend to drown people out.
Yes. I don't. Have you seen Slayer at the festival?
I've never seen Slayer. I've never seen Slayer in anything.
Either.
And now, they're down one member, and I mean, not that that's stopping them, but
yeah, exactly. But I've seen Slayer. Twice actually. Once, the first time was at Ozfest.
Okay,
and
cool.
it was very, very, very poor.
It was?
Yes, not good at all.
Oh, no.
Because Tom was shouting one note constantly, no melody whatsoever, because
his voice was gone.
His voice was gone. So it was like, and the second time was really, really good.
Huh.
I don't remember where. I think
was Dave, because Dave Lombardo's not always in the band either, like the drummer. Sometimes he's.
I can't remember. I know, but yeah.
I don't know. That's who I would be focused on, probably.
But I got into you guys with Hyper Magic Mountain, and then went back to the other ones. I got into the train that was already running. I guess.
You came in the middle.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. And then
that's good, because if you get hit by the train right in the beginning, it's over. You get hit by it's good to jump on the side of a train.
So it's true. Well, is it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it is. More fun.
More fun. Instead of having to wait before wait for the train to start, right?
Yeah, you don't want to have to wait for it to stop or slow down, or you just jump on. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, train metaphors. Of course.
Sure.
Fantastic.
Sure. We're getting off tracks already.
It's track.
I'm a pro. First off, it's a pleasure having you on our show. Our show is called Made of Things, but we'll get.
It's funny because I just saw you. I was looking at Instagram. I did a photo and then tagged the fest, and I was like, "Who are the other people that have been at this fest or whatever?" And so I was looking, and it was like you just posted a couple hours ago. I think maybe for this guy or for somebody.
Actually, unfortunately for yesterday's things, because
yesterday.
Yeah, because unfortunately we didn't have. We were running around so quickly from from everywhere, from place to place, that we couldn't get the Wi-Fi, and so I couldn't post like stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
Today you're dumping it all.
Literally first world problems.
First world problems, right? Like my inflatable is sinking in the river, and my Wi-Fi is not working, or whatever, and my bathing suit doesn't fit today, or whatever.
Exactly.
First world problems.
FML.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Exactly. What do you remember from that show from Portugal?
From the Lisbon one?
Yeah.
I remember there was this woman, Stellar Ohm Source, who opened up this kind of noi, like droney, like layered sort of trancey thing that was pretty wild and weird. I remember, it's funny, from us actually playing, I don't remember a ton, but I also remember afterwards, there was some kind of thing in Lisbon at the time, maybe, I don't know what the deal is, or Portugal, Greater Portugal, there were all these hooligans coming over from Britain into Lisbon, into the downtown, and so there was this tight curfew at a certain point.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe I got really confused and I didn't understand what anyone was saying. But after we played, I was like, hey, we want to get something to eat. And they're like, everything's closed. Like, you can't go anywhere. And it was like 1 on a Saturday or something. Like, it should have been sort of like party night. But he was like, but there is a place. So we had to we went down and we were like, they were the only people we saw in the street were 3 police officers down one street. And we snuck down this other street and knocked on a door. And there was this secret bar, sandwich shop or something that people were hanging out in. So there was this kind of weird, Big Brother vibe going on. Everything's shut down, but there's secret places where you can go in the middle of the night.
Well, honestly, I don't think Lisbon nightlife is really that banging. But
this was dead and it was weird, and it was something to do with British soccer fans coming over, football fans coming over, and tearing shit up. Prior to that.
Yeah, I remember what was going on.
And so they cracked down. Maybe for a moment there was this moment.
It was probably a game between Portugal and England.
Yeah.
And so that made it extra.
That night there was a game.
Or Portuguese.
Keep moving that microphone around.
No, it's actually works really well.
Keep moving that weird pear or apple around.
It's an avocado.
Around.
It isn't. What is this?
Yeah,
I don't know anymore.
Sort of like a hairless kiwi.
Yes, a hairless kiwi. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
In Lisbon, there is kind of still a culture, because before 10 years ago, you would go out until 6 a.m. because bars didn't really have a closing hour so much. And trying to make Lisbon a bit cleaner and sanitized and everything. They've been trying to close bars earlier and earlier, but it's against our culture, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's drinking in the street until forever.
Right.
It's much more of
beer for breakfast.
Other sorts of European countries that actually close by 2 midnight, 2 a.m.-ish, and we've started doing that, but it's not really in our blood, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a need of...
We still have a culture now of if you know where you're going, you can still get in until 6 a.m. even though bars close at 2.
Which was really exciting to me. I was just this is awesome. There's these secret secret tuna sandwich places at 3 a.m. that you can go to if you know which wooden door to knock on. I was excited. Felt good.
There used to be a really good vegan burger guy with this what you call it, the straw picnic basket.
Really?
Yeah, and he stopped for the longest time and he just got back. And you can call him, and he just walks around the street and has really good vegan burgers.
Yeah.
I recommend.
Just in a basket?
In a basket, he makes them himself.
Best vegan burgers that I've
And the best vegan burgers, just walking around, just the dude walks around. Claudio. Yeah, Claudio. Shout out to Claudio Burger. but he just got back actually after 10 years or something.
Where did he go?
I have no idea. I haven't spoken to him since.
Climbed into his basket and fell asleep for 10 years.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know.
So those are my memories of the Portugal show are sneaking around afterwards, seeing the opening band play, and then loading all this crazy shit in down a thin little elevator with lots of people helping. and just a really good vibe. I don't remember us playing though. I mean, a lot of times that's how it works. Like the playing goes out the window.
Plus you're touring and tired and stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of. Or, spaced out. Don't know where you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything surrounding the show was really exciting. And actually, is it ZBD?
ZDB.
ZDB.
Yeah.
Was great. Like they I felt really comfortable in their space, and like it was just they're really
nice. They're really nice.
Yeah, it was like finding some group of people that you super relate to. Like they would be your friends if you lived in that city kind of vibe, that thing.
That's totally it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the vibe on our show is like that as well. So stuff.
Your show
shout out
would
to
be my friend if I lived in your show city.
Already your friend, dude. You haven't even noticed yet, and we're already your buddies.
Perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Run on tuna sandwiches because of all the high energy?
What do we run on? We can run on virtually anything these days. But tuna sandwich is occasionally a good go-to thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else? What else is choice?
Maybe like rice and vegetables is a good.
Okay.
Like a simple, well-rounded thing to get.
Do you think you have because of your wife? Do you think you have access to really good rice and vegetables?
I think I do, because in Providence, the city that we live in the U.S. in Rhode Island, there is like a big farm, like a small farmers movement, as there are all over the states at least, and I don't assume all over the place. I'm not sure, but in the states there's like a big, like small farmers around cities, and then bringing in vegetables to the cities and stuff. So we get like a subscription service to vegetables every week. So we go and pick up our vegetables from this one farmer. And
is it?
It's like the CSA. Community supported agriculture.
Okay. It's not one of those online
it's
crates.
not like Blue Apron where you like.
Blue Apron, exactly.
No. This is like some people we know are farmers, and then every Tuesday they come into the city, and then you go and you get a portion of the vegetables, but they don't pre-cook the vegetables for you, or like put them in little plastic bags with and tie a bow around them or anything.
I only just hear about these things because of knowing stuff. But
my parents,
we don't get that in Portugal.
My parents got us because my wife and I had a little baby about 10 months ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You guys, did you do that? Do you have that kind of thing going on?
No.
Well, it depends. Like, for example, I run a venue in Lisbon with friends, and we recycle a lot of our stuff. And when we recycle, we go to the markets that supply the supermarkets and the markets. So we go to the sellers directly.
Babies? She recycles babies.
Oh, I thought you were speaking about food as well.
Maybe I am.
No, recycling babies, not yet.
No babies here.
Two different little ideas at you at the same time. The agriculture stuff and having a kid.
No. First off, we're brother and sister, and secondly, none of us have had any sorts of babies.
Have you seen Game of Thrones though?
Dude, don't go there, please.
I have.
No, but I get what you're saying,
you
though.
Get the reference?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going down a dark tunnel right here. I apologize.
It's fine.
No, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then we just get the whole baskets of things and crates of vegetables, and then we just cook for donations to go to institutions and everything. And so it's a bigger connection to the markets than you'd usually have if you go to the supermarket or any other kind of thing. but otherwise it's not a very common thing, at least in Lisbon.
Yeah.
But out here, like, it's just the person supplying to you is like your next door neighbor who has chickens or whatever.
Yeah, it happens like exactly the place we're actually staying at. I'm saying actually a lot. The place where we're staying, the person over here in Coura does supplies some pigs and chicken to some restaurants in Lisbon, which is and out of the blue we did not know this.
How far is Lisbon from here?
400 kilometers more or less.
5 hours driving?
Yeah, 5 hours drive. 4 or 5 hours drive. Guys, back to the music. Okay, so a little bit back to the music. Since Fantasy Empire, you haven't released anything. Do you have any working on? Are you working on anything?
Yeah, I mean we've been so Fantasy Emperor came out. We did some touring, and then I had this kid which slowed some stuff down, and then Brian was working on this video game that came out the other Brian called Thumper. So we kind of diversified. Like he made a game and I made a kid.
Is it out yet? The game?
The game is out. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard. Is it an indie release?
It is. It's distributed through Sony, so it is an indie release distributed through a major thing. I'm not sure
It
how
happens
that.
with PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
think
heard
it
of
even
Thumper,
comes
though.
out like on some other system any minute. It's starting to come out on other systems, like starting to appear on other things.
What's it about? I don't know.
It's like this. It's like a little scarab or a beetle on a track, and they call it a rhythm violence game. I wish he was here; he'd explain it better. But and so you're going down this track, and all this shit's coming at you, and you're swerving around, and you sort of have to play and make the maneuvers to this rhythm. So, but it looks amazing. It's kind of super sci-fi looking, and like, I mean, they spent 5 or 6 years on it. So it went through all these. I've seen earlier versions, and there were like these weird early versions that are just so different. Like he divorced it from its original entity like so many times. It's just like a ton of work went into it.
And you had nothing to do with it.
And I had nothing to do with it. I just
because of well, unless you were doing graphics, but even with the rhythm thing.
Yeah, right.
You know,
He's the bassist, but he's making a rhythm game. He's a great drummer too.
Really?
And it's funny because the way he worked in that game is echoed in the way he works on music as well. It's like we've had songs that we've written some song, fairly simple, a bunch of stuff, and we're like pretty satisfied. But he's like, oh, I'm not quite satisfied with it. And then over the course of like a year or two, he'll transform all the parts. So it's just like not even the same. It's just like a whole new song. And then sometimes I'll even play him the old song and they'll be like, what's this? And I'm like, this is the same song that we completely divorced from itself and then into this whole new. It's just like he's really into the process of like metamorphosizing, not necessarily. So it was amazing. I was really psyched. They like put their foot down and finished this game. Because like Brian will work on them, he'll just go forever.
But it can happen with music as well, right? Like you can be working on something basically endlessly.
Oh yeah, I mean you can always transform things. So which brings us to what we're doing now. We've been writing some stuff. We have like lots of parts and pieces, and then we went to the studio just like about a month ago, and we're just sort of jamming some stuff out, and then so yeah, now we're sort of in the middle of like we're organizing some songs, but then we sort of have these improvisational recordings that we might mess with, like maybe even release something. Like one thing that we've documented it privately, but like as a band, we play shows and we sort of play these sets of songs with like little bits of improvisational like bits here and there, but we haven't really released improvisations on record that much. Like there's a few things like stuck
on the
in
first one, right?
Yeah, the first one has some, and then there's always like some little piece maybe that's part of like there's like usually a track that's some kind of improvisation on each album or has a section. But we just did all these recordings. We're really psyched on them, but they're all just this kind of weird stuff, and we were like, some of them might become songs at some point, and some of them might not. But we were sort of debating about like releasing stuff just as improv, just like a long trail, like 40 minutes of like gobbledygook.
Okay.
And how it might be interesting if later.
Hopefully not gobbledygook.
In a good way, good gobbledygook, goodly gobbledygook.
Yeah, for sure.
Gobbledygook.
Gobbledygook.
But then like the idea of like releasing something and then coming out with more of a song record like a year or two later, and then you tracing some of that, like hearing bits and pieces of that in the improv too, and like whether that's okay, trying to figure out if just like releasing something that's a bit of a document of the process, basically, just to like keep the release, just to like get our brains into like the idea of like 90% of what we do is improv, and maybe we should release some of these improvs so people can see what we're really up to versus like the songwriting, which is like 10 or 15% of what we do. You've always been like hiding this portion. So yeah, that's where we are. We're jamming.
Awesome. Okay, that's awesome. Running out of time, so I'll just ask something that's pivotal for the show, which is actually not pivotal because sometimes I forget, but actually asking yes, critical, but sometimes not so much. But the show is called Made of Things, so it's based on the idea that you've dedicated yourself to art because, or in this case, in particular music, because you've heard something or read something or something happened to you.
Right, like what am I made of?
Well, yes. Or something that clicked and made you go, I want to do that for as long as possible.
Jeez, yeah, that's
sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But
yeah, I don't know if there was never anything that was like I saw a band and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. It was really, I was like hanging out with friends years and years ago in high school, and there was like a bass player and a guitar player, and then my friend, and me and him didn't really do anything, but we were like, well, I guess one of us could drum and one of us could sing, and so we like figured out who was gonna do which, and we just started playing, and it was weird. It was like, I think, so it just kind of happened. Like I just started playing some drums, and then I played more and more and more. But there was never a moment where it was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like even now, I'm like, maybe I should commit to this music thing. Like I think it's, I mean, me and Brian talk about it. Like we do a lot of stuff. We both do visual art, and I don't know. So we're always just like, wow, maybe we should get serious about this music thing. But I mean, we're just silly.
I think anyone else agrees on that.
No, I mean, we're very serious about it, but like we've never ever, if the year is good and we make some money and that's how we survive for that year, that's great. And then if I'm doing art, that's how I'll do it that year. Like that's great too. So yeah, it's been a slippery slide into this whole world, and it's just been, we're just committed to making things like your show says. So the specifics have unveiled themselves in their own time.
Fantastic. Brian, thanks for being on the show.
Oh yeah,
at last.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. It was a pleasure.